Hi, it's time for Street Talk, your voice and your views on the issues in the news. Fears of a global obesity, or globesity as it's known, was one of our recent topics, raising concerns that the growing number of protruding bellies may be more serious as a problem than smoking.
Since 95, we are seeing coexisting of undernutrition as well as obesity.
Researchers have recently warned of rising blood pressure readings among American children. This condition could prove chronic and life-threatening for hundreds of thousands of kids. One city councilwoman in Los Angeles, California, is proposing a moratorium on the building of so-called greasy spoon restaurants in the south of LA. Well, Catherine from London has a few wise words for people on the American side of the pond. People need to start setting limits for themselves. They can't just eat without thinking of the consequences. Get a hold of yourselves, Americans. From Japan, Masa writes that he's worried about the same thing happening where he lives. Why aren't more organizations doing more to combat this epidemic? It's become quite dangerous, especially for children. I've even seen the beginnings of it here in my town. Ahmed in Jerusalem sounds like he's seeking harmony. It's sick to think that there are people starving in the world, and on the other hand, you have people who are eating too much. If only the world would find a balance. The search for missing aviator Steve Fossett has entered its 10th day as crews continue to scour the barren Nevada landscape. Amateur sleuths have joined professional searchers and are using Google's search technology, giving high-resolution photographs of the area. In fact, thousands of volunteers have joined the effort from their homes. Fawcett's plane disappeared while he was out scouting dry lake beds for a planned attempt to set a land speed record. Nothing has been heard from a sophisticated watch that Fawcett usually wears, designed to let pilots signal their location in an emergency. Mohammed in Sudan is optimistic and skeptical at the same time. It's great how people around the world have banded together to find Fawcett. I don't know how much help the people at home will be, but at least it's better than just sitting around doing nothing. From the US, Julie has nothing but prayers for the missing adventurer. I'm praying for Fawcett and his family. I hope he can use his survival skills to fight the harshness of the Nevada landscape. Samuel in New Jersey in the US doesn't understand why the search is taking so long. With technology today, you think they would have found him by now. It's a surprise that they haven't. I'm happy to hear that everyone is lending a helping hand. Now, journalism isn't always as glamorous as it looks on television, and rowdy sports fans seem to be the ones to disprove that theory time and time again. One unlucky Australian reporter experienced this firsthand after a rugby match. Network 7 journalist Ben Davis was carrying out a live report as usual when a couple of fans began badgering him. Initially, fans mocked and teased Davis behind his back, but it got violent when the men crash-tackled him to the ground and then assaulted him. Luckily, Davis only suffered minor injuries and even confronted one of the attackers afterwards. None of the perpetrators have been found. Now, previously on Street Talk, we showed you a clip of women in art. It seems the same creator has decided to highlight women in film throughout the last 80 years. Here are a few of the recent ones. Quite amazing. That's it until next time. Do keep sending in your questions and comments and point us to anything interesting or amusing for Street Talk. Remember, what you see here isn't necessarily the view of Al Jazeera, and some of the content's been edited, but for time and space reasons only. And that's the talk on the street.